I'm not joking. President Donald Trump on the record saying he's not ruling out another run for the White House, telling NBC News, quote, there are methods by which he could do it. Now, the president is limited to 2 terms by the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, but that has not stopped President Trump from flirting with this idea before.
It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. Headlines from the fake news. Now it will be to serve twice.
Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right there. There's your controversy.
CNN's Betsy Klein is live in West Palm Beach tonight. Betsy, he said he's not joking when asked about this, then also said that it's too early to be talking about it. What more is he saying?
Yeah, Jessica, you're absolutely right that this is not the first time this has come up, albeit a little tongue-in-cheek, as you just laid out. But President Trump openly talking about the prospect of seeking a 3rd term in office, and he says this is not a joke. I want to read to you part of the transcript from the telephone interview he had with NBC News' Kristen Welker. Welker says, "Sir, I'm hearing you don't sound like you're joking. I've heard you joke about this a number of times," to which the president responds, "No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking." The president goes on to say that there are methods on which he could seek a 3rd term. Welker asked if it's possible that Vice President J.D. Vance gets elected and then passes the baton. The president indicated that that was an option, but he said there are others too. The president, of course, repeatedly said it is, quote, too early to think about it. Now, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, it bears repeating, Jessica, added back in 1951, and it says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Now, repealing that amendment would require a 2/3 vote in the House and Senate and ratification in 3/4 of states. So that is extremely unlikely. However, Steve Bannon, who is a top outside ally to President Trump, has mused that the president could be eligible because the amendment doesn't specify consecutive terms. We should also note that President Trump is going to be the oldest president ever in office at the end of his 2nd term, topping Joe Biden's record at 82 years and 7 months old in January of 2029. Asked if he even wanted to serve a 3rd term, the president said he likes working. Jessica.
Joining me to discuss these comments, CNN contributor and former White House counsel for President Nixon, John Dean. John, thanks so much for being here with us. I first just want to get your reaction to these new comments from the president.
Well, he likes constitutional end runs. That's what Bannon was talking about. And that's what seems to be on his mind, is how he can get around the very clear language of the 22nd Amendment, which precludes getting reelected to more than 2 terms.
And President Trump said, I have other methods. What could those constitutionally be?
They'd have to be written by the Supreme Court that would redefine the Constitution. As I say, I describe it as a constitutional end run. Jessica, this is not a new debate. It actually goes back to a Law Journal article in 1999, where a bunch of scholars got together and looked at the 22nd Amendment and said, you know, maybe a president cannot be reelected twice, but maybe he can serve twice. How does he serve twice? He becomes a vice presidential candidate. Then the vice president steps aside and makes him the president under the succession statute. This is really obtuse. This is it is pretty good scholarship. It's been debated for a lot of years. Hillary Clinton looked at it when she was nominated, thinking maybe her husband, former president, should be her vice president. But then she realized, well, he's not really eligible to become president under my reading and most readings of the 22nd Amendment. So she precluded that. A lot of people thought Obama should go for another term. He didn't. He read the Constitution and said, no, I'm not for end runs.
Mm. How much faith do you have in our democratic system to prevent that from happening?
Well, I think the courts have held because they're being tested right now as they never have before. There's over 100 cases that really implicate the Constitution and the system and our democracy, if you will, where Trump and Elon Musk, in some instances, are just running roughshod over the laws and the statutes that exist on how to hire people, fire people, who you can do with a statute, how do you allocate money that is appropriated by Congress. This is just being ignored, but the courts are really making the issue of the president must comply with the law. Now the question will be, will he comply with the law?
Certainly. And I'm curious, too, just from your perspective, even having this conversation that you and I are having right now, having a sitting president that's flirting, let's call it, with this idea, what does that do to American democracy?
It's not healthy. I can't tell you how depressed I have been with some of his decisions, what he's doing with tariffs. He really doesn't have unlimited tariff power. That belongs to the Congress. You wouldn't know that given the current debate. So he's beating up on the economy. He's beating up on democracy. He's beating up on federal employees. Last week he filed a federal action in Waco, Texas, where there's only one judge who is pretty predictable on how he comes out on things. He's very conservative, to attack federal unions, federal employee unions. So these are very troubling times for me anyway, and for anybody who loves our democracy.
All right, John Dean, as always, we're really appreciative of your time. Thank you.
Thank you.